So good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to another scene for the Living World of Darkness, Rage Across New York. We open this scene on the umbral side of the Sept of the Green, immediately in the wake of Felix's final words in passing, where Aiden has, surprisingly quietly, just crossed the gauntlet.
As Aiden crosses the gauntlet, he walks very slowly, still kneeling actually when he crossed over. Felix's blood all over him. Um, walks up and along, watching the police investigations go by, probably through the Umbra side as he gets closer to the Harcairn. And he will come out closer towards Sheep's Meadow, staying around that area, before letting out a scream of pure anguish that just seems to perforate all around the silence. As the rabbit spirits seem to almost turn away in fright as that scream, ragged and worn and long, reverts into a Krynel's howl of pure anguish and pain. Eventually, the howl ends as he just collapses down onto his knees, his face bloody, tears streaming down his face as he lies there in just pure agony.
Well, 10 Point didn't have the nerve to make an appearance, not after what happened when the news was brought to the pack. She has slowly followed the other two to the sept, lingering around the rock, and as farewells were spoken, just crying, letting the tears fall down her face. Some of them pattering onto the rock himself, some of them onto her shirt, her hands. But she stays very still, stays very removed, until that horrible, ragged scream of just primal pain echoes across the umbra. And finally, almost reflexively, she'll move, vaulting down off the rock, running in Hamid, and moving to where she knows the source of the pain is. Does he hold the Krynos form even after he falls?
Hamid,
And yeah, she'll come kind of stumbling, still tear streaked, and will run and crash roughly to her knees when she gets close. And just try sympathetically to gather him in.
the second she gets closer, even entering up, he looks up. His eyes, they seem to flare with that primal rage.
Well, then she won't make a reach for him.
But 10 Point gets the impression that he just looks too anguished to even react. Kind of almost half moves his muscles, but they just seem to flop uselessly to his side. As he kind of just collapses onto the ground.
And she'll edge closer and finally, kind of tentatively, try to just pull the upper part of him into her lap.
And Aiden Lynch, I can't make these sounds because there are people sleeping. But they are ragged cries and gasping and screams of just pure agony. as he just sobs hysterically, and they just seem to carry over the silence of the Umbra as he pulls out his hair, tearing bits of it out, even some of his nails digging into his cheeks, and lying there just writhing.
She's not in so large a form as she was the last time that he had a similar kind of fit of anger and pain. But all the same, she will do her best to gather him in against her. And as much as it's a hug, it's also an attempt to kind of hold him tightly to keep him from literally beating himself up. And she'll be choking a bit herself. She won't be nearly so taken with sobs as Aiden. But she's hardly in top form. And we'll just do her best to try to get him to take the solace that's offered. See if she can get him to calm down enough to just cry.
Saoirse, she stayed to watch Colin Felix's body, and I imagine about during that time is when Aiden made that howl, and the howl made her cries a little worse. After they carried Felix off, she then go to the Umbra and find Aiden and 10 Point. Imagine when she walks, or when she's actually running towards them, he's still crying hysterically. She'll kneel down and just flop on him and her and wrap her arms around him and just cry with him. Not quite as hysterically, but she's still very beside herself.
We get the impression he wants to fight you guys off. It's just like he just doesn't seem to have any end fight in him. There's just more tears streaming down his face. He seems just entirely broken. Eventually, the slight pats against your chest or even your face stop as he just lies there, eyes open, still tears coming down his face, but dry heaving slowly, breathing in and out and in and out.
Off of him when he gets to that point. For a moment, looking at 10 Point.
And 10 Point will glance up. But whether it is her own sorrow, whether it's just the sheer volume of the overflow into the pack link, she's still leaking a veritable fountain of tears, still kind of choking, hiccuping. Nothing is violent as Aiden's sobbing was, but she'll continue to keep him held up and against her, and if Saoirse's close enough, she will be offered the same.
Oh yeah, she'll keep it. She'll keep an arm around and just kind of curl into both Aiden and 10 in the comfort of her pack, and trying to, even though Aiden, she can tell that Aiden, she knows that that he needs it, so he's gonna take it.
Eventually, the two of you will hear over the kind of soft silence. Everyone is sobbing hysterically. They will just hear, he's gone. in this broken, choked, hoarse voice.
He will never leave the Umbra again, Raya. He is not truly gone.
Don't try. Not now, at that point.
And she quiets.
He's gone.
I'm sorry.
It was meant to be me that was going to die first. He was meant to live happily ever after with his wife.
Well, 10 points, lips kind of work a bit over her teeth. She kind of looks helplessly to Saoirse.
Saoirse will she'll very gently say to him, "Definitely, we're Garu. We don't get happily ever after. Every day like it's our last because it very well might be."
Why is it that all my friends keep dying? Why is it that everyone I love, I give myself to, dies, Saoirse?
Tell me the same thing.
It's not fair.
What isn't?
This. It's not fair.
That we're still here. That they're not. It's not fair that we have to live with being able to save them, not being there. It's not fair.
I should have been there.
So should I. I'm an Adrian, I should have been there.
It's my fault. I should have pushed. I didn't do my Gaian duty properly. I got my best friend killed.
You didn't get your best friend. If he gets another Garu killed, I'll break his neck myself.
My best friend's dead. My Felix is dead.
Huh? She just nods.
I don't know where they're taking him.
I think to Kailoni's den. I saw them going that direction. I didn't follow, but
And I can't follow where he's gone. can't go where he's going.
Saoirse understands that pain. She just nods. I know.
Well, 10 points expression has fallen, especially as Aiden's voice cracked. Her jaw just kind of clenches.
And yeah, he just starts hysterically sobbing again.
Alright. She pulls him in tightly again. And for a brief bit, she'll hum familiar Gaelic songs, drawing back his blood-stained hair a bit out of his face. And she'll wait until this round of sobs kind of weakens again.
For a different reason,
Once
will listen is that at least maybe Teresa and Felix will see each other again. They were both lost. And hope that they never forget us. And then she starts sobbing again.
I want to go home. I just want to go home. I can't be in this place. I can't. I can't be here. What? I just want to go home.
At some point will gingerly begin to shift. Like physically as in like moving around. Kind of getting her feet under her. Is he making moves to stand or is he just kind of still weepy?
He's just lying there, staring out into the umbral. So probably watching some of the rabbits filter around and around, but his eyes just swimming with tears. He just doesn't even have the energy to move.
And she'll be gingerly aware of Saoirse as well, looking to her to see if she's able to stand herself. And as they begin to shift and move, will very quietly, still arms curled around Aiden, will revert to breathe so that she can effectively scoop him up off the ground.
Can stand by herself, but if 10 points gonna offer to carry her, she's not gonna resist.
She will. If she still looks a bit weak about it, doesn't look like she wants to get to her feet, Metis will reach down, very gingerly scoop her up as well, so that she has Araya in either of her arms, cradled against her. And very somberly, she'll begin to walk through the Umbra, towards the city, out of the Sept and towards their home. And once they arrive there, we'll probably just gingerly curl back down onto the floor with a reflection of their home and keep both curled against her. And while she won't try, well, no, she will. She'll effect a shift, carrying both with her so that they can sit in the living room. And we'll just continue to hold them there, not trying to tuck either one away or apart from each other, but just let them be a puddle of misery on the living room floor.
Esther's just not going to let Aiden out of her sight, so following him around, keeping him company. She needs him as much as he needs her, so.
And truth be told, 10 Point is more than willing to kind of curl herself around the both of them.
Willing to let that happen.
And while she'll still have tears stream down her muzzle, fairly quietly, comparatively, she will just continue in the much deeper tones that her natural form can emit to, strangely enough, it's not growling, it's not whining, it's definitely humming. But with the two of them cradled against her, it kind of reverberates through her rib cage. We'll just do her best to keep the two of them calm, trying to leech as much of that overflow out of them as she can so that they can find peace enough to eventually cry themselves out and into sleep.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect place to end it.
Yeah, unless there's anything more.
Nope, I'm good.
I think we will just be the saddest puddle in the world on this floor. And so with that, we'll say thank you, players for playing, and watchers for watching. And we'll see you next time in the living world of darkness, Rage Across New York.